Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In the name of God, the most merciful and the most compassionate. I'm very glad to be here and to present this workshop. Before anything else, I have to thank particularly Lenny and other staff at the AFS program that provide me with this opportunity to be here. As she said and introduced, I working with the AFS for almost 1 year as a religious advisor. And besides my experience working with the religious community in the US, particularly Muslim centers, I had the opportunity to work with the students in the exchange program, and I learned directly from them about their issues, their concerns, and how to adjust themselves to the new situation. So, for this talk, I was thinking to present a general idea about Islam and some belief and practices Muslims are doing, and to let you know, learn more about Islam. Nowadays, everywhere, every time we hear from media, from different people, different gathering places and news about Islam, and unfortunately many of them are full of negative points about Islam. And one thing that it causes that enlarge the gap between the Western people or people who live in the West and Muslim people. So both parts need to learn more about each other and from each other. For today, I want to tell you some fundamental concepts of Islam as much as they are related to the practice of Muslim and the students who come to your home, to your organization, to this country, and you have to be with them and have an idea about that. Of course, you have idea, but I would like to say something more. The first point is some general idea about Islam. I think if you show your student, the people who are working with them from Islamic world, that you know something about Islam, it's like ice breaking. It get you familiar with them and remove and overcome barriers. So the first point is about the terminology. Islam, maybe you know, is an Arabic word, come from 3 letters SLM that we use for the religion Islam, and also Muslim when they greet each other they say salam. Those are the same, come from the same roots. Salam that comes from SLM means peace. So Muslim used to say salam alaikum, peace be upon you. So if a Muslim hears that you are saying salam alaikum, he or she will be happy that you know a lot about Islam and you want to have a good relationship. However, Islam comes from the same root, salam. But this term in Arabic has one extra meaning, that is submission. So Islam literally means peace with the world and also submission to God, or submission to the ultimate truth. And this is the meaning of Islam. The second point is about the Quran. You hear a lot about the Quran. I would like to say Quran is a holy book for Muslims. But we have to keep in mind that always I'm saying with my Christian fellow or Jewish fellow and like that, that we Muslims do not compare Quran with Bible. For what? Because Bible is the stories about the Jadid, and Old Testament is the stories about the old prophets, or history of the holy history of the Jewish. But Quran is not a story about Muhammad. It is a revelation of Muhammad. So Quran, in the view of Muslims, is a miracle like Jesus. So well, we do not say the Prophet Muhammad was a miracle. We say Quran was a miracle. The Prophet Muhammad had more miracles, but the main miracle of him was the Quran. And so if we compare it with the Christianity, we say Quran is like body of Jesus, not the Bible, because Bible is like Sunnah, that I go further to that. It's like body of Jesus. And this is that the Muslim students love to see some kind of respect. If you see in the news that sometimes because of burning one page of Quran, a lot of hate in Muslim country go up, because they don't look at it as a book, as a regular book, as a text, but like a body of Jesus, like a body of the Prophet, like a very holy things. So we have to keep it in mind. The next thing is Sunnah. So Islam consists of two holy sources, the Quran and Sunnah. One point before I go to Sunnah I would like to add is that Quran literally means reading, to read. So you can keep in mind and share with your Muslim students or colleagues and like that the base for Islam is reading, is a book, that come or focus on communication, because book is a text, and you have to read it, you have to understand it, you have to go to a hermeneutic relationship to interpret it. So it's for Muslim means emphasizing on reading, studying, striving to understand better and to have better communication. However, the second source of Islamic culture is Sunnah. Sunnah means tradition. And in Islamic context, Sunnah is the Prophet's saying, acting, and confirmation. So in the Quran, we have more reference to Jesus and Moses and Noah and Abraham than the Prophet Muhammad, because Quran is not about the Prophet Muhammad. Quran is about the other prophet, about the creeds or opinion or the doctrines that Muslims believe and how to practice. But Sunnah is focused on the Prophet Muhammad, how he acted, what he said, and what he confirmed. This is the Sunnah. The next point is about that this point relates us to get closer to Muslim students for the interface and interreligious dialogue or relationship, is that all prophets are recognized in the Quran, particularly prophets who are mentioned in the Bible. And it is very important, two important points. First, all Muslims have to believe to all prophets. A Muslim who does not believe in Jesus or Moses or Noah is not a Muslim. Who does not respect Jesus, the prophet of the Bible, including Jesus, Moses, and like that, is not Muslim. Quran clearly says that. And the second point that is a very important point is that they are the same. So they cannot say Prophet Muhammad is exceptional. It's a different. We have verses of Quran saying Prophet among themselves, they have different level of the spirituality. But Muslim have to believe in all of them, and second, to believe all of them are the same. So I mentioned some verses of Quran. If you want, you can write, take a note, chapter 2, verse 285, or I mentioned something about the other prophet, Abraham, that is the father of Islam and Christianity and Judaism, is mentioned in Quran 68 times. Chapter 18 of the 14 of the Quran is named Abraham. And another point that I only I would like to go and then come back is the one important important idea in Islam is a common word. It's saying that Muslim, Christian, Jewish has to come together and work together. This is the Arabic word, you can see it. قل يا أهل الكتاب تعالوا إلى كلمة السواء بيننا وبينكم. Oh Muhammad, say that the people of the book are Jewish and Christian, all Muslim believe. But some Muslim scholars also include Hinduism and Zoroastrianism and other religions. But for sure, Christian and Jewish part of that. We must come to a common word. So it is very important, chapter 3, verse 64. And the other point is particularly about Christianity, because when Muslim students come to the US, they have this idea, particularly in many Arab Muslims. In Persian country like Iran or even in the South Asia, they think of the West and the East. But in the Arabic country, they think Muslim and non-Muslim, Arab and Christians. So the Christianity is very important. And with regard to Christianity, it is very important that you know Virgin Mary is recognized and mentioned very, very respectfully in the Quran. Chapter 14 of Quran is called Mary, and always I make fun with my Christian fellow priests and bishops and like that. I'm saying in Islam we respect Mary more than Christianity, because in Christianity you respect her because she is the mother of Jesus and mother of Lord, and that's it. But in Islam, she has two aspects. One, she is the mother of Jesus. Second, she is important and most significant woman because of herself. Not if you imagine that there is not Jesus, so it seems that no particular position for the Mary in the Christianity, but still there is a very important position for Mary in Islam. Chapter 14 of Quran goes after her. Also two more chapters in the Quran called in some way related to the story of the Mary and her family. One of them is chapter 3 called Al Imran, means the family of the Imran. Imran is the Arabic name for the father of Mary. And Jesus himself are mentioned 33 times in the Quran. The same things that are in Christianity, the Spirit of God, the Word of God, and the Messenger of God. All of them are mentioned in the Quran and recognized in the Quran. And one very interesting verses of the Quran is the verse, chapter 5, verse 82 that I highlight here. It says that for the Muslim, that the nearest, the closest people for you is Christian people, because they have monks and priests, and they are not proud of themselves. They are humble people and they love to have communication. So I think if you have this kind of a stuff in your mind, and in sometimes share it with your friends, colleagues, neighborhoods, with your guests, and then they pave the way for the friendship and working better together. With regard to Judaism, also Quran mentions him, the greatest prophet of Judaism, Moses, 136 times. And it is mentioned many, many times in the Quran. So that some Muslim scholars, they say Quran is the book of Moses, because all times when talk to the Prophet Muhammad talks about the Moses and how he worked for his people, what was his mission, and all these kind of things. Israeli mentioned in the Quran respectfully. To be honest, Quran have two different viewpoints. Sometimes it's very positive, sometimes highlights some negative points. But to understand that, we have to keep in mind the same thing about the Muslim. Sometimes saying Muslim are very good, you are people of the faith and you will be saved and this and that, and sometimes saying why you are not practicing religion and condemn them and say something negative about the Muslims, but even with the companion of the Prophet. So we have to understand this issue. Unfortunately, nowadays many Islamist group and some anti-Islam people both highlight some verses of Quran that mention the negative point, but they ignore the other side of Quran. I would like to share with you a story. It was 2 years ago. I taught a course in Catholic University about Islam. It was a co-teaching with one Christian fellow, and he highlighted many verses of the Quran that are negative to the Christian and toward the Christian and Judaism. But he told me, say it. This is you and the floor, and say what you want. This is the verses. They are the verses of Quran. When I start to interpret those verses of the Quran and put them in their context and saying, okay, this is not the main approach of Quran to Christianity and to Judaism and to Christian and Muslim, but it's a kind of a spiritual warning that be honest with your faith, be yourself, be good Christian, be good Jewish, be a good Muslim. The atmosphere in the class completely after classes changed, and there was only one student from Saudi Arabia. He came to me after the class and said, "Say, before you come to the class and teacher distribute this verse of Quran to us, I was thinking ISIS is right to kill this kind of people. But you saved me and you showed me the real meaning of these verses of the Quran." And then I talked with my father in the Riyadh, and I told him there is a Muslim scholar who give me the correct interpretation of the Quran. So, however, there are beautiful verses of the Quran with regard to Christianity and Jewish people. One of them is this, and particularly this is also a statement of the Quran that I think we have to keep in mind. And there is a website called A Common War that a Muslim scholar and Christian scholar and Jewish scholar, they want to talk and improve dialogue among religion. So maybe if you go to that website, only Google it, A Common War website, it will pop up and then you can learn more.
Is that Common War?
Yeah, Common War. So yeah, so the 5 pillars of Islam. So from the theory and idea, right now I'm going to practices that you see more. The 5 pillars of Islam saying about the 5 things that all Muslims believe or practice. Belief is the first thing, that the Shahada. Shahada in Arabic means the confession or profession of faith. He or she has to say, I believe in God and I believe that Muhammad is the last messenger of God. This is the Shahada. If somebody says that, she or he is Muslim, that's it. The second is Salat or prayer. Muslims do prayer daily and occasionally. By daily I mean they have to do 5 times during the day, before sun up and at noon and afternoon and sunset and before go to the bed. Occasionally I mean at least 2 times in year, and also Friday prayer, Jum'ah prayer. So 2 times is the Eid al-Adha and Eid al-Fitr that I will talk later about that. But Jum'ah prayer or Friday prayer is something that Muslims do every Friday. So this is one point that think maybe it's a matter of question. We will talk more if there is a need. But however, this is one obligatory in Islam. We can talk about that. Is it obligatory to the young Muslim who come to the US or not? But in general, it's obligatory in Islam. 2-3 points about the salat or prayer. First of all, no need to particular space. So they don't need to go to a particular place for daily prayer. So they can do it in their home, in their school, but the place has to be clean. For that, they use some things, some rug or something that is called sajjada in Islamic context, to keep it clean. And when they are praying, they have to look for the Mecca, Saudi Arabia, or direct or orient that direction. So they have to find the direction of Saudi Arabia, because no matter Muslim or in the US, in China, in Iran, in Saudi Arabia, in Medina, or in Taif, or in Africa, they have to direct Mecca for their prayer. And when they are praying, in majority of Muslim believers, Sunni, the majority of Muslim, nobody have to disturb them by passing in front of them. So it's good and right if there is a need to go to that room or that place, to go at the back side and leave the front for them to do not be something more there. There are important points about the salah. The third pillar is saum or fasting. It starts from sun up to sunrise. It takes 1 month that is called Ramadan. Ramadan is very, very important month for Muslim, and sometimes they pray more during night. Different Muslims have different traditions, but however, Ramadan is very important. If they can, they go to the particular prayer for after sunset. It is called Tarawih. It's a particular prayer for the month of Ramadan, but it's not obligatory. But many Muslims do that as they think it's obligatory. Ramadan is a lunar calendar, so we cannot expect to be fixed in the, for example, August or June. This year, I think it will start late March, May, and will continue to June. And during the sun up to sunset, they do not drink and they do not eat. I know it's very hard. I have some colleagues, they said, okay, say you will be survive after months of Ramadan, are you sure we will meet or you will die, because it's too hard. But Muslims, because they have a faith, actually there is a kind of a spiritual energy that they will find, and we experience very good time, and sometimes after Ramadan we really think we miss something. So yeah, they can survive without drink and eat. But if there is a need, we have a rule in Islam. They say a person who is sick or who is in travel or is elder person have to break the fast and have to do not fast. The fourth thing is the zakat, almsgiving, but because the majority of people that you working with them, students, they have their own income, zakat does not go to them. It's for the people who work and have income, stable income, they have to pay a religious tax. It's called zakat or almsgiving. And the fifth one that also students mostly it doesn't involve them, is Hajj or pilgrimage to Mecca. Every Muslim that has the money to go to the Mecca and come back, extra that his or her life, so they have to go once in their life. But I think it doesn't apply for the most students that come to the US. I only added the word jihad because you hear a lot, and I will discuss about that more in the next session. Only I wanted to say it's not one of 5 pillars of Islam, but nowadays everybody when hear about Islam, they hear about this word, and it's not at the center of Islam. So. The last part of my presentation is about the practices, particular wudu or ablation and ghusl. Wudu is something that a Muslim has to do before go to prayer. They wash their faces and their hands to this part, and then they have to a different school of jurisprudence, but mostly they have to clean their hair and then wash their feet. So this is obligatory for the prayer, and they need to do that no matter it is in their home or school or everywhere. And of course they need to learn how to do that, to do not because of the wood floor or because to be cautious about the weight and like that. Do not make problem. Ghusl is something also religious. Maybe few boys need that, but in Islam, when they get adults, and particularly if they have a sexual relationship, or they in this situation they have to do ghusl. Girls after their period they have to do ghusl. They have to wash during their period. They don't need to pray. So if you see they are not praying, so you have to know that during also at the month of Ramadan when they are in period, so they don't need to fast, but they have to repeat their fast after Ramadan, not immediately, whenever they want, but they don't need to repeat their prayer, their daily prayer. However, after the period, they have to do ghusl. Ghusl is washing all part of the body. Now this is a picture that shows the wudu. The second point is halal food. The main point is about the meat. Of course, the pork is not allowed in Islam, but other meats, mostly they are allowed, particularly cow and sheep and chicken and like that, but they have to be prepared in a certain way that they say is halal. We have many Muslims that believe if this kind of meat, not lamb, not the pork, come from Christian and Judaism, it is okay. They don't need to go to the halal market because we have verse of Quran mentioning that. But some Muslims don't believe that, and they are saying they have to go to halal market and get the particular halal meat. However, this is what they mean by halal meat, that is the meat come from the animal and prepared in a certain way. Alcohol is not allowed in Islam. It is 2 points, one about the drinking, one about some medicine or some materials or food that have alcohol. It's a matter of discussion. Mostly it's not allowed. Personally, I say to my people that to 4-5% has no problem because it doesn't cause drunk, but more than that has to be careful with that. But if there is a medical need, no problem. If there is a medical need, no problem. Another point that always people are talking about that, living with dogs. So yeah, dogs are not recognized as pets in Islam. Some Muslims in my home country in Afghanistan and some other places, they have dogs, but they have their dogs in the separate room, but they are not very friendly with them. to play with them, particularly bring them in their dining room or bedroom and like that. They keep them separated. But however, what is important is that for the place that they are praying for the salah, it's supposed to be no dark, and this is the point about that. About the Jum'ah prayer or Friday prayer, as I said, it is obligatory in the mainstream of Islam, and if there is a possibility to have few Muslims in the school or someplace, they can have the Jum'ah prayer with themselves. If they are close to the mosque, they can go to the mosque. But if mosque is not available, or they are, because for the Jum'ah prayer, they have to be at least 5 to 7 people to can do that, because it's a kind of congregation, it's a gathering. It cannot be done like a daily prayer by a person. So if there is not enough people, or mosque is not allowed, so it's not obligatory, but maybe they don't accept from you, so you have to refer them to some imam and to tell them that it's not obligatory. And Eid al-Adha and Eid al-Fitr are two big celebrations in Islam. Eid means celebration. The first Eid al-Adha is in 2 months like that. No, more than that, sorry. So actually we passed it. When people go to the pilgrimage of Mecca, so people who are in their home, they still celebrate that time, particularly the day of the last day. It's called Yawm al-Adha, or the day of Adha, and because of celebration they call it Eid al-Adha. They like to distribute meat to other people. They love to celebrate, visit friends and families and colleagues and classmates and like that. So it is based on the lunar calendar, but it's available by Googling. You heard the word of Ayatollah. Sometimes they make joke with my people saying Ayatollah Google. So you can find everything in Google. They tell you everything about the Eid al-Adha, Eid al-Fitr, or Sheikh Google will tell you about Eid al-Fitr. Eid al-Fitr is the last, the day after the month of Ramadan. So Muslims celebrate that they were successful in fasting and worshiping God and doing prayer and like that, and they would like to celebrate that day. These two Eid, celebration of Adha and Fitr, have particular prayer, and Muslim is supposed to go and join that prayer. Particularly Eid al-Fitr, if they do not go to that prayer, they think they haven't done whole month's prayer. So we have to keep that one in our mind. Now, this is the all I wanted to share with you. Thank you very much, and I would like to put more time for question and answer them.
Pass around the mic so everyone can hear.
Thank you. I was wondering, why is pork not eaten? What is the reason behind it?
It's mentioned it's a matter of faith. So actually we cannot, Muslims sometimes say something, but we cannot be sure about to give a scientific or rational argument for that. It's a matter of faith, because it is said in the Quran and the Hadith that do not eat pork, so Muslims don't eat it. But some scholars of Islam try to justify it by saying some medical issues, some scientific issues, but they are a matter of controversy.
what are the guidelines for dress for women and beards for men? I know it varies by country and I suppose by people, but are there overall rules?
Oh, very, very good question. In Islam, we are not like Catholicism that have a particular authority and learn from that organization or authority. There are diverse school of thought. Mostly they think having birth for the man are recognized and is a religious issue. But new scholars, they think it's not obligatory. But with regard to the dress for women, still it is a matter of the discussion, but majority of Muslims believe that they have to cover their hair and they have to cover their body. This is the mainstream of Islam. They believe in hijab. It's called hijab in Islam. Actually, it is mentioned to the Prophet Muhammad in the Quran that say your wife to wear hijab, and Muslim scholars used to expand it to all Muslim females. But culturally, Muslims are different. If you go to the Persian Gulf countries, Arab countries, they wear restrictive hijab, but in Lebanon, in Iraq, in Syria, in Africa, in India, in my home, Afghanistan, in Pakistan, a light hijab. So it's a cultural things than the religious one.
Well, first of all, thank you very much for sharing with us today. And second of all, I wanted to ask, with regard to students coming from abroad who are Muslims, are there any things that could be done to help make them feel more welcome? And are there good things to make sure students have available to them? I mean, I know it's difficult to generalize, but anything can help.
Yes, actually, I started with this point. If they know that you know Islam, because many Muslims think Western people have no Islam, this is the first point. And unfortunately, because of the news in Islamic world, they think Western people hate Muslims. Islamists in the last 2 decades, they highlighted this point, that Western civilization is in fight against Islam. So if you only show them that you know something about Islam and you respect it, and particularly use some Islamic expression like Salam Alaikum or MashaAllah, Alhamdulillah, I will tell more about them in the next session. So they really feel friendly and close to the host and think, okay, no, they are like us. This is the main point that I think can help you.
I'd also like to thank you. This has been very educational. We have a Muslim student placed with a family with 2 gay women. And so the student is struggling with that. I wonder, what is Islamic teaching about homosexuality? And if you have advice for us for how to bridge the gap for the student and the family.
Mainstream Islam against homosexuality, and they think it's like a traditional or classic thought in the other religion. They think it's a sin, and they want to keep themselves away from that. And I think with regard to the students, we cannot change their idea because they are rooted in their culture and they learn so maybe indirectly we can help them. So one thing is that Muslim cannot understand, or there is a big misconception. Many times Muslims, when they think of the wine or drink, they think of being drunk. And when they are thinking of the dance, they think of the kind of lust and being a person don't care about the ethical issue and immorality and sin. The same thing with the homosexuality. They don't think of the emotional and thought behind that. They think it's as a something the product or the advice of the Satan, and so they look at it hatefully. So to change it, I think they need to learn, as I mentioned two examples of drink and dance, if they understand that it's not a matter of the drunk, it's a cultural and something related to the culture more than being a drunk person. So with regard to the lesbian and gays, the same things. They need to learn that they are. It's not a matter of the immoral issue. It's a matter of the emotional, matter of the passion, matter of the feeling, matter of the understanding each other. So, with respectful manner, I think we can reduce their negative viewpoint about this issue. But I'm pretty sure we cannot talk or change it directly and overnight because it's rooted in the Islamic culture, and we have this problem in Muslim world. Yes.
So I'm married to an Iranian man, and I often wonder if the students, his family is obviously Muslim, and so I often wonder if the students think that negatively of that.
I didn't get the last word. Students think of?
Do the students think negatively of that because I have a different religious background than my husband's?
So yeah, this is one point, maybe negative point, but overall negative and positive. That in Islam, mostly it is believed that a Muslim man can marry a non-particularly Christian and Jewish woman, but a Muslim woman cannot get married with them. So this help them to not think negatively. But however, I think if they come in this country and after some time they will learn because we live with the stereotypes, and the stereotypes is that they hate each other, different religion, particularly nowadays through the media. Everybody talking about that. If you turn on TVs in Iran, in Saudi Arabia, in Syria, even in my country, Afghanistan, the hateful speech is more than peaceful speech against the other religion or about the other people. So, but when they come to the reality, they will learn, and they will. The good point is that they are youth or they are teenager, so they can change their mind and they can learn. And this is the goal and the objective of this program, to learn and to break the stereotypes. So I think maybe at the first time they look at you or they consider some negative point, but step by step they will change, and there is a great hope that will change, I'm pretty sure. Yes?
You want to try? So, out of curiosity, I know my son was explaining to me that within Islam, just like within Christianity, there are different types. So there's Sunni, and I don't know the other because he was Sunni, so we mainly focused on that. And I don't know if this is a part of your 201 session, but could you give us the names of the difference and maybe something that highlights the difference between them?
Great. There are two main denominations of sect in Islam, Sunni and Shia. So, majority of Muslims are Sunni, more than 85% of Muslims, and minority of Muslims are Shia. Iran, that you pronounce Iran, Azerbaijan, Iraq, in some extension Lebanon, and Yemen. There are majority Shia, but other Muslim countries, majority are Sunnis. This is the first point. The second point is that this division in Islam happened exactly after the Prophet Muhammad passed away. So it's not like Protestantism and Catholic that division happened centuries later. And the third point about the differences, there are two, with regard to practice, there are not so much differences. Only majority of Sunni, when they pray, they keep their hands together, sometimes up, sometimes down, but keep them together. But in Shia, they leave their hands. And some Sunni, they leave their hands when they are praying. And Shia try to pray, when they pray, they go to the center prostrate, they put their heads over the part of the ground. But Sunni majority of Muslims, they think the rug is okay and they use their regular thin cloth or like that. So in practices, there are not big differences. One thing that is important for the practice is that Shia people, they respect Muslim months of Muharram. Muharram is a very important month for Shia people. Exactly the months after the pilgrimage to Mecca. They celebrate, or the better word is that to say they mourn for the grandson of the Prophet Muhammad who was killed in a battle at the first century of Islam. I'm not saying he was burned in the Iraq, in the Karbala. So if you Google Imam Hussein Shrine, you will see it. If you Google Arba'in, A-R-B-I-N, you will see a very, very outstanding picture of pilgrimage. They are going right now. It's a matter of the demonstration or show off in conflict between Shia and Sunni. However, what is important is that Shia also respect months of Muharram to mourning for their Imam Hussein. Otherwise, they practice the same thing. With regard to the theory, there are more diversity in Sunni school. Majority of Sunni are Hanafi, and Hanafi is the liberal school of Islam. And it is said the majority of one sect in the world. For example, if we compare Catholicism or Protestantism or one particular Buddhist sect and all these religions, Hanafi people are above all these other sects in the world. So I think many of Muslims who come to you, they are Hanafi and they are very open-minded. This is the main things about the Sunni. And the last point, we have something called Salafi, that in Africa, in some Persian Gulf countries, it's a kind of movement, like Protestantism in the Christianity. They think we have to go back to the earlier Islam. They are restricted to the ritual of Islam with regard to the hijab, with regard to prayer, with regard to fasting, and like that. So to conclude, two main sects, Sunni and Shia, they are historical as long as Islam, and the main difference between them is that Sunni believe Prophet Muhammad left the leadership of Muslim to people, but Shia believed he appointed his son-in-law and his cousin Ali as the successor, and so they respect the family of the Prophet and Ali above all. I hope that this information doesn't confuse you. So we have, I think 5 more minutes. So.
Great, yeah, so maybe 1 or 2 more.
Sure, well, yeah, first of all, thank you. My question is, within Islam, is there any certain landmark or age that someone's considered, like they come of age within their faith and they're considered an adult within their faith or beliefs?
Oh, to become nature?
Yes, to
Yes.
become mature and to be considered an adult within.
Yeah. There is actually controversy for men. It is for the boy. 15 years is the common year that they consider them. But because being a religious person is advised, so maybe a 12 years old or 13 years old boy consider he wants to be treated as an adult. So and practice religion and then say, oh no, it's obligatory. But it's a 15 years old for the boy. For the girls, there is a controversial in Islam. Sometimes some Shia schools they say 9 years old. Some consider 13 years. But there are 2 more signs to be considered as a mature or adult. For the girls, it's the first period is the sign of being the mature person. So, with regard to different region, because of the weather, because of the climate, and like that, different age can be considered as these things. And for the young boys, the first time that I don't know how do you say in English. Then the first time that they have kind of coming, what do you say? The first time that they ejaculation. So it is considered as the this age for maturity, religious maturity. Thank you for
Thanks very much for your comments. I'm curious to know, is there a common path to become an imam across the different Muslim communities? And or is there any hierarchy within the leaders of the faith?
There are so many commonalities for all Muslims. All of them believe in Shahada. All of them believe in these 5 pillars. So only the way they practice is different. So all of them believe in Salat, Saum, Hajj, Zakat, and Shahada. With regard to the hierarchy, in classical Islam, people maybe like come from the Iran, from Egypt, from India, from Malaysia, who are not affected by Salafi people. There is still a hierarchy. So Grand Mufti, Sheikh, in Iranian context, Hujjat al-Islam, Ayatollah al-Azma, they are hierarchy. But who are affected with the Salafi people, they use kind of, they say everybody can deduce Islamic law from the Quran and Sunnah. So they don't believe in hierarchies. In some way, close to Protestants. So this is the point. If I can take this point to the previous point about the Shia and Sunni, I can say Catholicism is close to the Shia with regard to hierarchy, and Sunni are close to the Protestants that don't believe in hierarchy.
Great, I think that we'll let everyone have a quick break and say, well, thank you so much for this. If you'd like to stick around, we'll have it again for the Islam 201 will go into a bit more detail. Thank you again.
Thank you. Oh. Yeah, so shukran. Yeah, both. Shukran or shukran. Yeah. And on. The last part. Shukran, shukran. You're welcome. No, it's okay. Yeah, this is my daughter actually. Yeah, she came. She came.
I have a question, and I didn't know if it was appropriate to ask the big I appreciated the comment about the Quran and how to think about it. Because I always thought it was the book.
Yeah.
So to think of it as that's wonderful. So what's on the controversy, and this is probably me being very naive, the controversy about the tombs against the prophets.
Would you like a glass
All
Oh, who against the prophet?
This is making
Would you like a glass
cartoons
Okay, yeah.
about the prophets.
Yeah.
I mean, even in Christianity and Judaism, you
They
make
do that.
fun of exactly.
Yeah.
So, can you help me understand
No, I know.
what